On Long Island, I met a clock expert. He makes house calls repairing old clocks, and he's just shy of 90 years old. He brought me into his workshop to share a day in his life.
I'm A. Marshall Irving, antiquarian horologist, and I live in Setauket, New York. Back in the 1960s, my family gave me things out of attics, and some of them were clocks, and as a curious engineer, I asked myself, how does this work? And the next thing you know, I was fixing them. One client of mine has 1,000 wristwatches in his collection. Most of it's junk, but he has 1,000. I'm a trained engineer by the Merchant Marine Academy. Went to sea on ships in the Navy. I became an aerospace engineer, then became an administrative law judge for the state of New York as an engineer. Background, it gave me a great advantage.
Right.
I knew about metallurgy and machine tools. Deal with all types of customers. My record with my customers is that I've only had to throw 3 or 4 out of my business, and I've only had 3 or 4 of my customers throw me out of their house. Most of them have thrown me out of their house have come back to me. It's a headband with loops on it and magnification.
That's a fashion statement.
The safety aspect of this watch is very important. You have to pay attention to what you're doing, because if you don't, these things can bite you and make you bleed. My hands are pretty good shape still. Grandfather clock and grandmother clock and granddaughter clock, properly called tall case clocks.
Okay.
That's the technical term for them. When you can have a short tall case clock too. We have some of those in the other room.
Short talls.
Right. There are one class of clocks that I find particularly fascinating, and they're the ones that have no battery, no keys, and they will run 30 years without being touched. It's called an Atmos clock. It runs on a change in temperature.
That's unbelievable. Do you sometimes get old clocks that are unfamiliar to you and you have to start from square one?
Well, that's the fascinating part of this business. Every day I find something that I haven't seen before. I have several challenging things on my bench right now.
Do you think part of the reason why you are so sharp is because of how much you are challenging your brain every single day?
Yes, of course. You should do something that you love and like. It's useful to know what time it is. You're one of the exceptions to this rule. You came early. In New York, most people come late. That's the usefulness of a clock. It's also, some of them are works of art. They're great things. I've been in the tower clock at the Marble Collegiate Church in Manhattan, restored those movements and got them going 100 feet or something off the street. I climbed the scaffolding when the building was being redone to get up there and look at them. I much prefer working on a high-quality clock. German and French and English and American companies that made some of the finest clocks that have ever been made, and I appreciate having the privilege of working on them and following on with these geniuses who built them in the first place.